I'd like to say good morning to everybody who is watching now, and it's so good to see you this morning. This is an exciting day. I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Welcome again to Word Power. I'm so excited. I'm your host, Julian Johnson, and I have something great for you today. Welcome to Word Power. Well, we're here on Word Power and we're having a challenge today and little technical difficulties, but we're going to keep on going forward. Thank you so much for being here today. Today, I'm talking about living above the fray, 5 essentials for thriving in 2021, the antidote to shame. Shout out to everybody who's watching on Instagram this morning. I'm so excited to be with you and to share with you today. All right, so the real deal today is a lot of people are wondering how in the world do they get through their life without drama? Well, I want to tell you that it's kind of difficult to get through your life without drama. But what I will say is that you can get through your life with some resources from Built to Thrive. So go to builttothrive.me/resources and you'll have some good stuff there for you. This week is for recharge, is for encouragement, and for empowerment. So I'm glad that you're watching now. I'm glad that you would share this. I'd like for you to share this broadcast with someone else. So the word of the week this week is shame. Yeah, the word of the week this week is shame. And I want to give you a Bible text. Every week we have a word of the week, we have a scripture of the week. And the scripture of the week this week is, however, those the Father has given me will come to me, and I will never reject them. Now, I want to tell you this is from John chapter 6, verse 37. A lot of people are ashamed of stuff that they have done in their past, things like difficulty, pain, and maybe not even looking the way you want to look. Some people are ashamed of that. But I want to tell you today that Brene Brown gives a great overarching general view of shame. And she says that shame corrodes the part of us that believes we are capable of change. So a lot of people don't believe they're capable of change. People are afraid. People don't want to see themselves, and they don't even want to look in the mirror sometimes. But some people have been ashamed of their lives and things that they have done. Have you ever been ashamed of something you have done? Have you ever been ashamed of a relationship you have had? Some of you have those relationships like you like to be seen in private, but not in public. Shame, shame, shame. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I would suggest to you today that all of us at one time or another, and some people have been ashamed of where they have lived, and some people are ashamed of telling the good things about themselves. Well, I want to tell you today that shame is really, really like a coat that you wear in the summer in the heat that you mentally cannot take off. And today we want to open the buttons, we want to take off the coat, and we want to do something that's going to give you some encouragement. Now, I want to let you know today that shame is learned and judgment is given. Now, shame is something that we learn. When we grow up, we don't think that we're ashamed of being a little kid. Some people are not ashamed of growing up and enjoying the company of marrying somebody from a different culture or being with them until somebody tells them it's bad. I want to tell you today that shame is a learned thing that can also be unlearned. But judgment has its seat and the result of criticism and anger. And some people are so critical. Listen, I'm a recovering person who was critical for a lot of my life. And I'm telling you that shame is learned, but judgment at its seat is criticism. So judgment is an external consequence of people not understanding you or taking the time to get to know you. I think I'll clap for that one myself. Judgment is an external consequence of people not understanding you or taking the time to get to know you. So people have prejudgments, and we call those prejudices. So we know that in the world, there are a lot of people prejudiced of people because of the way they look, where they live, what they have, what they own, blah, 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 blah. It goes on down the line. Judgment is really easy, though. It's really a cop-out, though. Judgment is really like a veneer for people who choose not to interact with other people. It's easier for me to judge a person than for me to take the time to get to understand them or get to know them. What's up? Shout out to my friend, the new Dr. Noah Washington. All right. Shout out to Jamie Pottinger. Shout out to Slickest and also Rob and J. Allen, 1984. So judgment is really easy, but the shame part is the part that really wrestles with you all your life. Now, it doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter where you live, where you're watching this globally, or where you're watching this inside of your house on your phone or listening to this as a podcast. The reality is so easy to judge. And I would suggest to you the reality is also that shame has some antidotes. So everybody's been taking a virus. I got my shot, 2 shots, boom, boom, in my arm. And I was able to kind of experience the process of going through all the different phases of experiencing what it's like to get the shot for this virus, right? So I got my shot. I was excited. Well, I was nervous. And somebody said something crazy to me before they gave me the shot. The other person gave me some hope. And I want to let you know that some people need some hope today, and you need an antidote to the shame that you've been dealing with. Some of you have been dealing with so much shame that it has paralyzed your life. And I want you to be free today. I really want you to be free today. Something didn't want this broadcast to work, but this thing is going to work today. Are you ready? All right. So the question today is then, Noah, how can you grow and begin to unravel the shame in your life? All right. I got 5 things that are going to be time-tested principles that I've used in my life to be able to help people to be free from shame in my own life. All right. So you ready? Number one, you got to claim your humanity. Now, a lot of people really are ashamed. I have friends, I have stuff that I've done in my life. I have bad decisions that I've made. When I first got married, I was getting like pink slips trying to pay bills, not having enough money. I was ashamed. My wife's like, honey, it's going to be good. We're human. Everything is all right. You are a person. All right. Shame is the reality is you got to understand and claim your humanity. All right. You got to claim the fact that you are a human. This is planet Earth. You are a person, and you are subject to everything that is good and bad about being on planet Earth. Somebody talk back to me in the comments today. The reality is that a lot of people want to put themselves on this platform of perfection and not realizing that they're human. And you really, like Noah Washington is saying, you got to understand where the shame came from. Some people, and we come into that, Noah, you are human. The reality is this is Earth and you are a person. God says in John chapter 16, verse 33, that in this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. A lot of people think that because you're a Christian, because you got all your degrees, because you have the right name, because you live at the right address, you're not supposed to have any issues. And there's some stuff you're ashamed of you really don't want anybody to know. All right. So number 1, you got to claim your humanity. Number 2, you got to give yourself some grace. You got to give yourself some grace. Everybody makes a mistake. You got to start over. You got to give yourself a permission to go forward, but you got to give yourself some grace. All right. So I like this quote by Dennis Waitley. Says, happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. But happiness is a spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Every day of your life is an opportunity for you to give yourself some grace. Now, does that mean that you ought to go back doing the same thing you did to make you feel bad? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is you got to give yourself some grace. You made a mistake. Somebody had a kid out of wedlock. Somebody had a kid with somebody who they thought they loved, thought was going to marry them. Now you left with the kid. They're off with somebody else. Somebody got a job. You gave your job away. You wanted to have another job. It didn't work out. Guess what? Give yourself some grace. Some of you said something this week that you should have apologized for, that you probably apologized for, but now you got to go forward. Now, I would suggest to you that happiness is not a place to be traveled to. It's a place to live. It's a lifestyle. And then I'm going to tell you number 3, the thing to give yourself some grace. Then the next thing I would like to suggest to you is claim and teach progress over perfection. That a lot of people only look at perfection and everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be the right way, the right time. everything has to be perfect. But I would suggest to you that we teach what we have learned from generation to generation, and why not start something new? I would suggest that we can have new rules, new principles, and also some new values. A lot of people are afraid of kind of going forward because it's not something that you can actually calculate. It's always something different, all something rules, something value, something that's powerful in your life. Then number 4, I want to give you something that's going to bless you in a mighty way. I want you to forgive yourself and forgive others. Ben Franklin has this great quote that says, whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. So whatever we start angry, we can't start a relationship angry, can't start our job angry. I was telling somebody the other day that when I first got my first check, can you believe this? When I got my first check out of grad school, I got my own introduction into somebody who was doing some drama. I was told I would not get paid. And I want you to know today that we always have to let somebody else know that we have to forgive ourselves and forgive other people, but also give them an opportunity to realize that whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. The other thing I want to share with you today is that we, instead of having to please so many other people, we can please one person and please one entity, and we can have a great experience as a result of having one encounter and pleasing the audience of one. So at the end of the day, we have ourselves, we have God to please, and everyone else benefits from these two relationships. So instead of trying to look at the antidote for who we think we should be, we always have an antidote to shame. We always have a place to go, a place to be, and that place is it comes from however those who the Father has given me have come to me, and God says, I will never reject them. So I want to tell you today that wherever you are in your life, that there is an opportunity for you not to live in shame, but you can walk in grace every single day. So I would suggest you, number 1, claim your humanity. Number 2, give yourself some grace. Number 3, teach and claim progress over perfection. Number 4, forgive yourself and forgive others. And then finally, please the audience of one. Too often we look for trying to please the audience of other people around us, other people who are nice people, other people who are neighbors. But I would suggest to you, at the end of the day, only you have yourself and God to please. Everybody else benefits from those two relationships. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm so glad that we had this time together, and I look forward to being able to connect with you even further. Please, inside of the comments, there are 2 resources for you. I hope you grab them. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for spending some time with me. We'll see you the next time. Have a great weekend. I'm Julian Johnson, and I approve this message. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.